Good morning. I pray that each one of you are having a blessed and wonderful day. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different for you. What I've been finding in the church setting is a lot of times what pastors do or people do is they preach a message and people feel uplifted, but when they leave, there's no application. People have no idea how to apply this text to their life, or what was even the purpose of the scripture, that the scripture or the message that was brought in that day. So today what I want to do is I want to give you some key things that you can do to kind of help out. The other thing that I want to do is this is something that's going to hopefully allow us to begin to our growth with God and our relationship that we may be feeling that we may be missing. The key component is to spend time with Him. How can you say that you love someone when you've never spent time with them? So today what I want to do is I'm going to give you a focus scripture, and I'm going to give you some things that you can do to make it applicable to your life. That way it's something that you can apply on a daily basis so your growth can begin to happen. So the first thing that I always ask that you do is I ask that you pray over the scripture, that God can open your mind, your heart to receive whatever the scripture is saying to you. Now, after you say that prayer or a prayer similar to it, what you'll do is you'll read the scripture, and then the next thing that I'll have you do is I want you to get a notebook, or either you can do this on email and send it to yourself. But what I want you to do is get a notebook or whatever you're writing on and put your thoughts. In other words, if it were me, put Quincy's thoughts. After you place Quincy's thoughts on there, what I want you to do is I want you to begin to write down what it is that you feel about that scripture that you just read. What is it saying to you? How does it apply to your life? And then after you do that, I want you to write down personal things that you're dealing with that you want to get rid of. And write it in a way where you're speaking to God. And if this is your first time, or if you've never done this, it's going to be a time where there's some things where you feel like, should I write this, should I not? I want you to be honest, even if it's something where you're cursing, even whatever you're feeling, your thought that you're feeling at the moment, I want you to write it down after you finish reading the scripture and writing what it says to you. But I want you to begin to use this as a segue to release the things that you're dealing with in your life. A lot of times what I find is there's so much that we're dealing with. We keep putting it one thing on top of another, and it keeps compounding, and when it does that, we can never become free from it. So this is a way that you can release. So what I want you to do to focus scripture for today, this is going to be for this week only. I'm not going to give you several. I'm going to give you one scripture, two scriptures basically for the whole week. It's going to come from Ephesians. That's Ephesians, Ephesians. It's going to be chapter 4, and it's going to be verses 22 through 24. Now let me read it for you real quick. It's actually going to be three scriptures, but let me read this to you real quick so you can get an understanding. The scripture says to put off your old self, which belongs to your former manner of life, is corrupt through deceitful desires, and to be renewed in the spirit of your minds, and to put on the new self, created after the likeness of God, is true righteousness and holiness. Now for the next week, what I want you to do is I want you to read over those scriptures. If you have to, every day, I want you to journal something. I want you to read that scripture and write down what it's saying to you. And then after that, I want you to also write down what you're feeling for that day. If you want to write something thanking God, if you want to write something about that you're upset about, I want you to be honest, and I want you to write whatever you're feeling at that moment. And again, this is something that's therapeutic. So here it is again. What I want you to do is take the scripture, pray over it first. God, open my mind, my heart to receive whatever it is that you have for me to take from this text. Read the scripture, write the passage, write down what your thoughts are. And that's it. All right. You guys have a blessed day. This is what we call application. This is going to be the first part of discipleship. If you truly want to change your life and begin to walk in the greatness of what God has for you, this is the path. This is the beginning. All right. Love you guys. Have a good day.